Hey, everybody, welcome back to Sith Council. It's me and Darth Sabraw today, and we are doing the final episode of Season 1 of The Bad Batch. There's some news about Obi Wan, saying it's shot like an independent film. I like that. I like it a lot. I'm going to talk about that. Seems like Mandalorian Season 3 is going to be shooting soon. And, some casting news and all that other stuff. But we're talking about it. We're going to be here, and you guys are going to be joining us. So, Sith Council coming your way.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you back. It is Friday, and it is the Sith Council. Oh, I got this lady here. Hello, lady.
Hello. Can you believe we made it to the finale?
Yeah, it's you can tell now for sure that I think it was smart that they announced season 2 before this episode because it just seemed like another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel the exact same way.
It was a good episode, but it was just another episode. The only thing, and this is spoilers obviously for everybody, the only thing is that the very end. Mm-hmm. Oh, so that's how they start cloning like Snoke and Palpatine and all that because they have her to help.
Exactly.
Like the one little thing that ties in everything else. But this is just, how many missions have we had where they're trying to get off of something or try to, get free or something?
I know. That was like when it first started though, I was like, it felt like, you popped a bottle of champagne. I'm like, oh, this is intense.
Right.
Like we're saving people. We're underwater. It really felt like a movie.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't do anything different.
Yeah, no, it seemed to me like, like we've been there before, except this time Crosshair was with them.
Yeah.
They're going to fail under your leadership. And it's like, I like that he was with them. I thought that was great that he was with them. But
and then he left them, though.
Which makes sense.
You think?
I mean, you can't trust that guy.
I know.
Go to sleep. I'll watch the camp. It's like no. I would never go to sleep again.
You don't get night watch.
No, it's everybody. That's one more problem you have to worry about.
Yeah.
It's just like, why would they even want that guy with them? It's like, everything's fine. I'll walk the puppy. And it's like Hannibal Lecter.
He's eating the puppy down the street.
No, you're right. Go ahead, Omega. The fact that Omega was, he saved Omega because that was like you save me, I'll save you.
Yeah.
That was just okay, fine. I'll save you this time because without you I'd be drowning right now. But
I like the way they both saved each other.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool. It was like a similar fashion with like a crossbow type.
Right, and so what is that droid toast? Because he shot that droid. Is it?
I don't think so. No, because I think he was just connecting to the droid to pull them in. Yeah.
Either way, it was they had to escape this thing, and then a big alien comes to try to eat them.
Exactly.
That thing was in the water was pretty cool. The animation on the show was fantastic.
It reminded me of was it episode 2 when they're of the movies with remember when they're underwater with Jar Jar and that?
Oh yes,
it looks like that
for sure. It did. I did. The attachment to Kamino and the sea that Kamino was gone. The way that they ended all of it, and obviously the attachment for all of them, and this was the end of the Clone Wars that we knew it, as far as that whole facility and everything from Attack of the Clones until now. That place is gone.
Yeah,
everything that we knew from the prequels, like the bit of the prequels is over, and the transition into having her start cloning for the Empire, and she's just like, okay, I survived, but at what cost?
Yeah, she's like now a slave to the Empire to make weird scientific experiments.
And I thought that part was great because especially after watching Mandalorian and saying, oh well, that's how that ties into that. That's how they got their science, and she's still around, kind of doing stuff for them and pass that on. I like that, but I just hope there's more to do in season 2 except rescue missions and escape missions.
Yeah, there was just. I don't want anyone to die, but it feels like there's no cost ever.
I think it's funny, though, too, because even if I hear myself say that, it's like someone will be like, well, that's what the show is. It's about the Bad Batch, and it's about rescue missions and escape missions. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I guess that's fine.
No, I know. Okay, one thing I thought is weird, and I know it's one of the other big reveals that we all kind of guessed because we found out that Omega is related.
Oh, and that she's
older. How did?
No, that makes sense.
No, but I'm like emotionally.
Emotionally, I mean, she's not older emotionally. Well, because here's the thing. This was set up for a while. Those clones and even the Bad Batch, they age rapidly. That's why they get so old. That's why by the time they're in Rebels, like they're old. By the time you're in Return of the Jedi, Rex is an old man because they're and they say it in Attack of the Clones that Boba Fett and her, they age normally. So they
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
I was like,
why.
that doesn't make sense if she's older and she's a child.
That's why, because she ages normally.
Okay.
They do not. And they age rapidly, their brains, like everything. So that's why she's older.
Okay, I was like, there has to be a reason, or else people would think that's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but other than that, does her age have any implication other than just
just the fact that she was around to watch them get cloned and make it into the world.
Yeah.
She was there for their birth, and that's pretty significant because that's why she
cares so much.
She cares so much about them.
And it made more that scene in the lunchroom when she met them in the first episode more impactful, because you're like, why is she bugging them?
Because she knows them, and it also ties back into what she is and what she's done, and I think that there was stuff in this episode was really good. Like the stuff, even when she, like the whole fact of how she saves Crosshair, and then and even when he like brushes her off after he realizes that she's get out of here, and he's just, well, she just saved my life, and then so he that everything about the episode was a good episode.
Agreed.
It's just for a finale, as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, I just feel like that's just another really good episode of this series. Nothing like massive happened except, nothing massive happened. Kamino blew up. Yeah.
But what does that have to do with them? They weren't staying there anyways.
Right. I mean, I guess it's the overall attachment. It you have to like tie it into the Clone Wars overall.
Yeah.
And it is, if you look at it as the extension of the Clone Wars series, it is a pretty big, massive event that Kamino is gone.
Yeah, and it is, like, every episode is so visually fun to watch, and it is fun. It just, I think it was different coming off The Mandalorian, where we're just expected to have such intense storylines, and this is just not that, but it's still good.
It is, and I think for the animated series that they have, they're going to be their premier animated series, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that they didn't just do a one-off, because they're going to invest in this series, whether it's 4 seasons, 5 seasons. They're going to invest in it, and that's why they didn't kill anybody off. And I think they'll continue to do some more stories with them. It's also interesting because what's going to happen once they do these new live-action series, right? And so with the live-action series, will it tie into the Bad Batch? And is that maybe what they're waiting for some of these other series to put out more episodes so they can tie it in inside of that time period and leading up to stuff? I mean, who knows?
That's what I'm curious about, if they're going to do. Because when we thought it was just one season, I was like, we're going to at least have 1 or 2 characters go into a live action show. I'm unsure now that there's a second season, but it would be cool if they did both, like connected the characters.
Sure. It also means that Cad Bane will probably appear in this show again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he'd appear in Book of Boba Fett. It'd be great if he did.
Yeah.
But now it seems like he's reserved for that series now.
Other than the Ming-Na, the Fennec Shan character relationship with them too.
Right. I mean, it's possible that he shows up again in live action. I would prefer that.
Me too.
I think that it's time that we finally see this dude. But yeah, I mean, the whole series overall, is it a good series? Yeah, it's a very good series. It's a fun animated series. I just wasn't as invested as I've been in other things. And I also don't know if it's exactly what you just said with Mandalorian, right? When I was so tied into Rebels and tied into Clone Wars, it's because that was the series that we had in Star Wars. I know that I'm getting a live action series and a ton of them. So I'm wondering, instead, like subconsciously, I'm like, yeah, this is great to have this animated show, and you'll be into it. But like, come on, Book of Boba Fett's coming out.
Yeah,
soon,
you're getting live action.
I wonder if that's probably why in my head I didn't attach to this as much as I wanted to.
I think so. I think that as part of it.
Rebels was so good. And Clone Wars was
so good. Because Clone Wars had so many storylines.
Yeah.
Like, we learned about
different characters and stuff, right?
Like the weird sister, like all of these characters that we got introduced to, Asajj Ventress, like all of those were so sick. This one, we only have the Batch and Omega, which I love all those characters, and
But you want to see some other people.
Yeah.
You know what I think this was though too? I remember when they announced this series, I think it was at it's either D23 or Celebration. I can't remember, but Filoni did like a whole thing on it, and people lost their minds. And I remember being there going, all right. I always thought Ken Knapsack loves all the whether it's the ships and the pilots and that part of Star Wars, which I like a lot. But I like the Jedi stuff and the Sith and the politics. That's my favorite part of Star Wars. So when I love the Empire stuff going on in this show, like the building of the Empire to see like their overall dominance of what they're trying to do ultimately to and how they're getting rid of the cloning. That stuff I find fascinating.
Me
like
too.
when Tarkin shows up, it's great. But the other stuff that was never my, like when the Bad Batch people, oh, this is so cool, we're getting a Bad Batch show, and I was like, okay, they're cool characters, but I wasn't as, maybe that's another reason why I wasn't as
because it's not Boba.
Right.
I think a lot of people connect the Bad Batch with Boba and Jango, but it's not the same just because they are the same.
Right. So, but either way, it's you still can't complain about it because it's a Star Wars show, right?
Yeah.
And you have something to watch in the interim as you're waiting for Boba Fett and these other shows. It's like we've had Star Wars. We have things to watch in Star Wars, and this is why I think television has been working so far for Marvel and everything too, because you can have those little breaks and then watch something else.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's been good. So what do you guys think about it? Like for people who are watching and listening, what were your overall thoughts of the entire season of Bad Batch? Did you enjoy it? Did you love it? Did you think, oh, this is good? Did you kind of feel the way Steph and I did? It was great to have a Star Wars show and watch it, but let's get to the live action. Really want to hear your thoughts, so please comment and tell us what you think. The other thing that I wanted to let you guys know before we start moving on and start talking about some other stuff inside of the world of Star Wars is Headspace. His show is sponsored by Headspace, and I'm sure glad that it is, because if you guys already didn't know, think about it. Wouldn't it be just wonderful if there was a pocket-sized guide that helps you sleep, it helps you focus, it helps you act, be better? Well, guess what? For you, there is. And if you have 10 minutes, Headspace can and will change your life. Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided medication in an easy-to-use app. Headspace is one of the only meditation apps advancing the field of mindfulness and meditation through clinically validated research. So whatever the situation, Headspace really can help you feel better. If you're overwhelmed, Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation just for you. You need some help falling asleep? Headspace has wind-down sessions their members swear by, and for parents, Headspace even has morning meditations that you can do with your kids. Headspace's approach to mindfulness can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost focus, and increase your overall sense of well-being. Steph does it often. Steph, you fell in love with Headspace.
Oh, yeah. It's probably the only app that's helpful for me on my entire phone.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah.
And you should. And I love it. And my kids love it. So and when did you discover it?
About 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been using it for a while now. Those SOS meditations.
You love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure you check that out, guys. It's backed by 25 published studies on its benefits. 600,000 5-star reviews and over 60 million downloads. Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you on your schedule, anywhere, anytime. You deserve to feel happy. Headspace is a meditation made simple. You got to go over to headspace.com/Sith. Go to headspace.com/Sith. That's headspace.com/Sith. You get a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best offered deal right now. You got to head on over to headspace.com/Sith today. Some other really fun stuff. I was looking, there was a bunch of great articles on StarWarsNewsNet.com, and I don't know if you saw, did you see the thing with Taika Waititi?
No.
Taika was talking about his movie that's coming out, and he said that while he's writing the script, that this script feels very him.
Oh.
Now, so I could already see some people getting worried about that, right? Because he's one of the funniest dudes. I had an opportunity to interview him, but I had an opportunity till they brought us to do this thing when he was working on Thor Ragnarok, and we sat down with him while he was editing the movie or working on the movie.
Oh, okay.
And he was talking to us for a bit, and then he came in to Collider Live. He's just naturally funny. He's just wired funny, and so people automatically think, oh, they're going to get a Star Wars comedy. I am never, and I think that people always mistake when I say I don't like the humor in Last Jedi as I don't like comedy in Star Wars. Comedy's always been in Star Wars. It's always been in Star Wars. It's just the type of comedy I like in Star Wars. The first two things that jump off to me are, well, let's go to The Mandalorian. When he's in that first season, he's talking to the Jawas, and they start making fun of him because he's trying to talk Jawa or whatever he's doing, and they laugh at him. And then he goes, how about this? You understand this? And he tries to light him on fire. Right, like that's inside of what the character would do, and it was a funny bit. Han Solo getting frustrated at the comm controls and saying, "We're fine. How are you?" And then he shoots it as a boring conversation anyway. That's within the character what he would do. The stuff I don't like is telling mother jokes right before you're about to do this in invading things. Like, oh, your mom's on the phone. Whatever. It's like what? Like that.
And falling for it.
Marvel does that stuff, and it works because it was set up inside a tone. That doesn't work for me. But like, if you can make it work inside, and Mandalorian, Taika actually does it, and I was on the fence, and people gave him crap about it too. The Jason Sudeikis and the conversation when with the two stormtroopers when they're fighting over Yoda, they were two idiot stormtroopers. Was it a lot of comedy? It was, but did it fit for these two bonehead stormtroopers? Yeah,
that really worked for me.
It worked. It was overcome. It didn't feel out of place. It just at that point I was like, okay, maybe. Was it necessary to do? No. But did it work? For me, it did.
Yeah, and it's not main characters that I think with The Last Jedi, the parts that you're talking about, it's like those were some of the most serious characters, and then all of a sudden they're breaking and falling for a mom joke.
Yeah, that was I mean, in Last Jedi, Hux is a complete buffoon.
Idiot.
He's a complete buffoon. And that character to me was just completely ruined all the way around. But either way,
with Taika, if you watch his stuff, he makes some of the most poignant points in his films. Yeah. He's obviously a genius in a lot of senses. So I think that even if it's funny, it will be done in a way that makes sense and hits points.
I like Ragnarok a lot, and
I love Ragnarok.
I think it actually reinvented and changed Thor and helped the character tremendously.
After Dark World?
It's so funny because I stand by when I saw Dark World the first time, I remember really liking it. And people were like, oh, I can't believe you like that one. And I was like, all right, maybe let me go and check it out. I watched it recently with my wife. I don't hate it. I just don't hate it. I agree that it's not one of the best ones. A lot of people hate it, and I get it. But that's when people do the hot takes on Twitter. What's a movie you like that everyone else doesn't like? And I don't mind that movie. But I do think that he needed a dramatic shift in his character because just I'm Thor. It was getting old.
No, you can't. It didn't really fit the character because he's like so massive.
Yes.
He's obviously good looking.
And Hemsworth is funny.
Yeah, and so why not use that?
Yeah, and he did, and he pulled that out of him, and he was able to work that dynamic with Bruce Banner, and I think that this is the same conversation we had about Patty Jenkins. The question is, what script, what characters is he working with? If it's a brand new character and there's brand new people inside of this story that we don't know, then he's got a blank canvas because this is just who this character is. This character is funny. This character is someone who would crack a joke at this moment. Mm-hmm. If he does a Yoda movie and Yoda's doing one-liners all the time and starts cracking jokes, like, hey, then it's like, uh-oh. And I'm not saying he's doing a Yoda movie. It's just someone we know already.
Can you imagine?
He turns into Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah. Whoa! Hot in here. Is it? Or it is hot in here. It is. I screwed up that whole joke. But either way, I don't want to see him changing characters just to add jokes.
No.
But if you if a character is funny because that's just who they are naturally, I think that he's done it well. He's put in position to set up humorous stuff, and look what he's done in Mandalorian. In Mandalorian, he did great episodes, and the one scene was funny, the rest of the episode wasn't, and it was
more serious. Like IG-11 sacrificed himself.
Oh man, what a great episode that was.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was really good, and to see him do that, and I think that he probably fell in love with Star Wars even more because that think tank that they had with all the directors and Favreau and Filoni, like, how do you not fall in love with Star Wars with it? It's just addicting, right?
And how do you not get the vision then? I feel like that's the best starter camp for any directors creating for Star Wars.
Well, when you see what I always go back to that comment that Bryce Dallas Howard made when she's talking in the gallery series on season 2. She's like, we are in a playhouse just making Star Wars. That's what you want to hear. And that's why you got so many great episodes. Look what she did. She made a pretty good episode in season 1, and then she made a fantastic episode in season 2.
100%. I'm so excited to see her.
And isn't she coming back to direct?
Season 3.
Is it season 3 or is it Mandalorian? I mean, is it Obi Wan? I mean, Boba Fett.
I thought it was she's coming back for Mandalorian.
Is it?
I thought they announced.
It very well might be, but I
oh wait, no, you might be right.
She got announced for something.
I think multiple people from Mandalorian got announced for Boba.
For Boba, is that what it was?
Yeah,
I know
except for Rick Fumiyama.
So he I would assume she's going to come back to do more. I don't know, but either way, and that actually just plays into the. Well, actually, let's go into this story next, and there was a posting. I don't know where it came from, but Ahsoka that they're looking to cast Sabine, and I saw a couple posts like, "Oh, really?" It's like, well, yeah. I mean, it's been said that this is basically Rebels season whatever. And it's like it's going to continue off where Rebels left off, and it's her and Sabine. And if you were a Rebels fan, you shouldn't be surprised. If you weren't, you're like, well, then who's Sabine? Then that's fair. But she's looking for Thrawn, and we know that she goes to look for Thrawn with Sabine.
Exactly. As soon as we heard Thrawn, we thought that we would get then a live action Sabine.
But I hope they cast.
The voice actress?
Yeah, but she's not just a voice actress. She's been in. She was in what's the NBC show? The one with the afterlife or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, not The Good Place.
Yeah. Good Place.
Yeah, it was.
She was in The Good Place.
Yeah.
Tia. Oh man,
She's awesome. I agree. I think that she could be dope for it. I wonder if they'll hopefully let her at least audition for the role.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how. Let me see.
I love Sabine as a character, though.
She's a great character.
She's like the Miles Morales of Star Wars to me.
She's really good, and she adds a lot to. I mean, Tia Sakar.
Oh yeah, Sakar.
And so she's. I mean, how old is she? I mean, she would fit as.
Yeah, because Sabine's supposed to be older in this. I'm pretty sure, or in her 30s.
Let's see. Let's see. Well, this is not the right actress. That she's not 65 years old.
Oh.
Let me see. What did I say? Who the actress was?
Tia Sakar.
Tia Sakar. Thank you. I'm gonna check. See exactly how.
She looks young.
So she. For God's sakes. Well, I mean, Sabine. She's in her 30s.
Yeah.
She's in her 30s. But Sabine, I guess at this point, would be. I mean, she's not in her 30s. So I don't know, maybe they're going to try to cast younger.
She's 39.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might try to cast
younger.
But she looks really great. Like she looks like she's in her 20s.
100%. The thing that she's got going against her that Rosario Dawson doesn't is that makeup.
Yeah.
She's
Mandalorian.
She's like human.
Yeah.
So it's like. It's going to be. They probably, depending on if they want to do
multiple seasons.
Yeah, if they're going to do multiple seasons of Ahsoka and they're going to continue to do stuff, then they might cast younger.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because she's really good.
She really is, but I also think that they might not cast her because they didn't do that with Rosario's character with Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah, I mean, but there could be a lot of other things that went into that too, right? So I think that and I don't know at all, but maybe they did audition Ashley. Maybe Ashley couldn't do a lot of the physical stuff that Rosario Dawson could do. Rosario Dawson is a great action actress, and she pulls off a lot of.
I think she's done a lot of her own stunts.
Yeah, maybe Ashley could do it, but maybe Rosario just did it better.
Yeah.
And because Katie got cast as Bo-Katan.
Oh, that's true. I forget about that.
Katie can kick some ass.
Totally.
So another person I think has a good shot. Well, look, Lars Mikkelsen voiced Thrawn, and he's heavily rumored to play Thrawn. So the other person I think that could get cast is Vanessa Marshall as Hera.
Oh.
Don't be surprised if Vanessa Marshall gets cast as Hera.
Her voice, it would be hard to imagine another person doing that.
Yeah, and I think she would be able to do it makeup-wise, physical-wise. I love Vanessa Marshall. Vanessa Marshall is a sweetheart. She's really talented.
I love hearing that. Most voice actors and who act in general, I hear the greatest things.
She was one of the first people to ever reach out to me. She's a Giants fan. She's a New York Giants fan. So we talked about that at great length. But she's always been very supportive of me and the shows that I've done. But she's just a sweetheart of a human being. She's great, and she's super talented. Look what she did. And Freddie Prinze Jr., another great guy, awesome dude. And I've talked about this. When you hear Freddie you're like, oh, that's Freddie, and it sounds like Freddie from today, and he's supposed to be playing Freddie at 12. But Freddie is a very good actor and a very good voice actor. But bringing that voice down, whether they told him not to do it, I don't know. But she brought her voice down, and she sounded like a very young Hera.
Yeah.
She was.
We thought
great.
he was a different voice actress for a second, just because it had been so long.
She was so good in that. So I'm going to make a prediction that I think Vanessa Marshall, when they do Hera, will get cast as Hera.
So we'll have to keep a lookout for the what series did we think that we might?
That's either going to be Rogue Squadron, the movie,
or
it could be
Cassian,
or it could be Cassian, or it could be Ahsoka.
That's true.
The only thing with Ahsoka is that she's going to be running around with her kid at that point.
Yeah.
Which they never really. What happens to that kid? Where's that kid?
We never really have kids in Star Wars that have parents.
But this kid's got the Force.
Oh yeah.
This is Kanan's kid. So what are they?
That's becoming. Yeah.
Maybe what are they going to do with that kid? They're just going to let him. Jason is his name. So they're going to let him go.
I wonder if that's the next family they focus on. Everyone loves Kanan.
And well, you look at where it is. So Luke seems to be. This is why I still think Luke could have a series. Now the question is, this deepfake guy that they got.
Yeah.
If they really get a Luke series, I know that you're not as crazy about the James Dean stuff, but if they got, I would prefer Sebastian Stan. I've been pretty vocal on that. But if they were able to do it where it tricks my eyes, because the stuff that this guy did for the Mandalorian change looks so good with young Luke. But if they did a Luke series or a Luke angle on something, showing him recruiting, because he recruits Grogu, he recruits all these other. He starts work. Obviously he brings his nephew on board for a little bit. But he ran a Jedi Academy. Is Jason part of that academy? And what they never explained in the damn movies what happened to any of these people.
Yeah,
some of them get killed off. Did they all die? Yeah. Some of them went off with him. What happened to them? He said that some left with Ben. Well, where'd they go?
Who was there? How many? There was no.
There's a lot of stuff that they could play with inside of that. I think that people right now are hesitant, saying, "Oh, leave that era alone." I think there's a lot of stuff inside of that era that can be played with.
Yeah, sure. I agree. That is one part that I get why they didn't want to put in too much information in the movies about that, so they could leave it open ended. But it'd be,
I guess.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at it.
Nice.
Yeah. But since you didn't give us the information,
right?
Maybe it's like a Bad Batch situation where now you're explaining the Snoke cloning. Maybe they go back and explain Jedi Academy
about why and how it all went down. You're not there anymore. I just went to that camera.
Oh.
So Obi-Wan Kenobi. Indira Varma says that Ewan McGregor and Deborah Chow have made this beast feel like an independent movie. Love hearing that.
Me
because first of all, Deborah Chow that's what she's really good at. Ewan McGregor is going to shine he already does. This guy has been wanting to play this version of Obi-Wan Kenobi forever. This guy's such a great actor that you're going to get such an in-depth look at Obi-Wan now, and to feel that, and to feel like that, that's what I want to see. I don't need to see that. I mean, of course I want to see a couple big battles and lightsaber fights and all that, but give me that emotional feel. Let me see the breakdown with him and Owen.
Yeah.
That's what we never got. This series is going to be, this might be the best series we've ever had.
I'm so excited. Every time we talk about it, I get more excited because Obi-Wan found a way to become most people's favorite character, even though they made his agency connected to every other character except his own.
Right.
He never had choice, or we never really got to see why he was making decisions other than for the council.
Right. And he was a bit. I watched that scene when in Empire Strikes Back recently where Yoda doesn't want to train Luke.
Yeah.
And he's inside of the thing and he says to him, and Obi-Wan goes, "Was I any different when you trained me?" And it's like, Qui-Gon at this point in Lucas's mind didn't exist. But yeah, he did. No, he didn't. But either way, to see the evolution of what Obi-Wan ultimately becomes, because I think the best description or example of how great of a Jedi this guy was is when you look at his battle with Darth Maul in Episode 1 and how aggressive he is and how angry he is and how it ultimately almost leads to his doom, but then he's able to slice Maul in half. And then you fast forward to when they meet again on Tatooine in Rebels. And everyone was always like, oh, it was so quick. He just took him out. Yeah, he took him out because he was serene and he was peaceful and he was chilling out on Tatooine for all this time. And he didn't have any of that aggression. He was the Obi-Wan that we knew from Episode 4. And that was that transformation of how that happened. I always thought that was, and he's cradling Maul in his arms at the end. Like, it was this kind of a respect overall. He didn't hold a grudge. He didn't hold anger. And I'd rank him as, him and Yoda are to me the two goats of Jedis.
Yoda's definitely my goat, but Obi-Wan for sure.
Yeah.
And I loved all the Obi-Wan stuff we got in Clone Wars and Rebel. That's all great, but I just want to see the live action.
Because he's gonna have to struggle.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to struggle. He's gonna have to be there taking care. He's gonna be in pain over his friend. He's gonna be watching over his friend's child, checking in on the other one through Alderaan. Having this tumultuous relationship with Owen, and and then also probably sensing that his buddy's still alive now, and then whatever's going on with Qui-Gon. I don't want to hear this nonsense that he's not going to show up.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Of course he is.
Of course he's going to show up, and I don't want to know that he's going to show up. I'm glad, but people, it's like, oh no, Liam Neeson, I haven't heard about it. Okay.
You are 100% showing it.
100%, but anyway, so that's
because you haven't heard about it.
Right.
Why would you say that?
No, he's like, no one even talked to. I didn't even know what was going on. Come on, man. Mandalorian season 3. We talked about that. Oh, it's going to start filming soon, according to Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Everyone's like, we're not going to get Mandalorian for 2 more years, or I don't think that's true. I think it's still on time.
I think you probably get it. You're probably going to wind up getting it at the end of the year. Next year.
Yeah, the Boba slot.
Yeah, you're gonna get, so you won't get, because you wouldn't have it this year at all, but that's Boba. And then, like I said, you got Boba, we do this every show. Boba, I actually, what's funny? Shoot, I had heard, where did I hear that? I don't know, I remember. So what I'm hearing is that Obi-Wan is coming out in like May or June.
Oh.
I heard from a source.
Okay.
It's coming out like May or June, around that area. So right around like maybe celebration of the final trailers.
Yeah.
So we might get Cassian first.
Okay.
So
like in February
Andor,
or
yeah. I think because if they're still casting and doing stuff with Andor now, it's still, you could potentially, I think that it's going to be Book of Boba in November, December, wraps in like December, January. So like March, you probably get Andor.
Yeah.
And then May.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're going to be, I know you're not as interested, but we will be getting Visions in September.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I'm curious about it. It's, what I do hope that they do, and I don't know if they can do this because it was never, well, I think it was a comic series for Star Wars also. It's definitely one for Marvel. It's the What If. I want to see them do that for Star Wars. I like the What If series for Marvel. I watched like 3 episodes. You didn't like them?
No, I don't know if I like the concept. I'm for sure gonna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like what if? It's like, okay.
But it's the parallel universe. Did you like Loki?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, so when Loki went into, like, the whole reason that happened was because in the events of the Avengers, what was supposed to happen, they messed with time and he went somewhere else. So like, what if that didn't happen, or what if, basically, if there was a full episode of what if the Avengers actually jumped back, but Loki escaped with the Tesseract? What would happen? Well, what would happen is he'd wind up going and working with a variant and this and this and this, and it's just that the infinite amount of I'm obsessed with like parallel universes and time and the way that time works. I'm listening to scientists who believe that like space and time is infinite. So no matter what choice, if you decided today to stop off at a coffee shop on the way here, and you ran into an old friend that you wouldn't seen, and then because you ran into that old friend, you guys wind up going to let's say it's some dude,
Yeah.
right? And it's the love of your life. And you didn't even realize it, right? But you didn't. You came here and did this show with me, so you just missed out on the love of your life. That's like there's so many of those, no matter what.
Yeah.
And the fact that they do that with this show, I liked episode 1. Okay, I just thought that they basically just replaced. I like Agent Carter a lot. Very good character, but they basically just replace her and put her as Captain America, which is cool, but it's like
Not that different.
It's just not that different. It's just okay. Instead of Steve Rogers, it's her with a couple different choices that Steve Rogers made. 2 and 3 are very different, and they change up things tremendously. And I was like, I hope they do more of that, and I would love to see that in Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, what if Anakin helped Mace Windu and destroyed Palpatine?
But okay, so my question is, with Loki finding out everything that happened with the time and like the different dimensions. Yeah. It matters to the overall story. Yeah. Right? What if, though, doesn't? If I'm correct.
Well, no, it's more like standoff one-offs because of the whole, like, it's like, because they're not continuing on. They could, if they wanted to, continue a different story. Well, this is, like, I think what's going to also tie back around is the Spider-Man movie. Did the Spider-Man trailer come out, by the way?
I don't think so. They
said that they were going to come out. And they never,
no, it's like Kanye's
album. Because Spider-Man is also going to play with the parallel universes, the multiverse, and all that stuff. So that's why I would love to see it. It's so funny because through Marvel and I think DC and all these other things that play with time. Yeah, DC definitely plays with time, obviously. Star Wars is the only one to me that really makes sense. I'm glad they don't. But it's the only one because of space and time that should work with time travel in the way that it.
That's so true.
You know, it's like it's because that's. I always think of Interstellar, like when you the way that time works on one planet, it does not work on another planet. Like time moves because of the orbits and everything too. It moves
gravity.
Yeah, the days aren't the same. So people you could be younger, older, depending on the time, and that would certainly work. They don't, and they shouldn't play with those rules in Star Wars, like, because every place that they go, they're able to breathe. Every place that they go, they're able to. Time moves the same way, and you shouldn't be wait a minute, because then it gets less fun if you do that. But if you thought about it, like time travel and time in Star Wars would make the most sense. Parallel universes and that kind of thing. And they did it once in Rebels with the. With that bridge and how they saved Ahsoka and all that.
And they've teased that they think that they could use that same concept to retcon.
Certain fans have done that. I don't necessarily think that'll ever happen because that'll just get flown into.
They still made
crap.
Billions of dollars. To them, that's a success.
And they don't need, because there's so much time in between episode 6 and episode 7. You have so much time to play with that you don't ever have to really go into that. And then I still think you wait 10, 15 years, Daisy Ridley and Boyega want to do a series after episode 9, then why not?
People finish it.
People right now, I would want to see that. It's like, first of all, you might not want to see that. But second of all, you know who's going to want to? The 8-year-old who will be 18, or the 10-year-old that'll be 20 years old and be like, oh, that'd be cool to go back and visit my childhood when I saw that. Don't forget, the way that you felt about the prequels or the way you felt about the OT, there are many children who feel about the new trilogy. There's not a lot of people, a lot of 7 or 8-year-olds that saw that series going, I'm going to tweet Ryan Johnson about this. It's not happening.
All my little cousins loved it.
My daughter loved it. My daughter loved it. And so when she's like 20 years old and if they do like a Rey series, I'd like to.
She's going to be an Oscar winner by then.
Right.
And you're going to be excited.
So anyway. A lot that we did talk about here today. So thank you guys for joining us on the big thing. One of the things to let you guys know, look at this. This is my favorite. Available on the Skybound store is the Lady Justice shirt and the 5150 shirt. You can go to the Skybound store right now and go and check those designs out. You can get them right now. 5150, the Quirky Mercs, and Lady Justice, Marisol McKee. Go and get that. She's going up against Ethan Irwin for the Movie Trivia Schmodown Championship of the World in September. And go and get a shirt. Support her. Take a picture of yourself in either one of those shirts and tweet it out, and we will retweet that. Don't forget about this Saturday, if you're able to, Mike Kalinowski. The reason he's missing today, he's probably training for Chandru Dandapani because he's defending the IG title. That's tomorrow. So please go and check that out, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be very, very fun, very interesting. And we're excited. We're excited for it. Don't forget that The Big Thing is going to debut on Monday on this channel. So if you've been enjoying The Big Thing, enjoying that episode, my episode with CM Punk just dropped today. So that's still on the main channel, but everything else will be on this channel moving forward. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to Steph Sabraw for being here, and we'll see you on the flip side. Homies.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.